Hey guys, MG here once again, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Swiss Spirit multi-tool. Currently these are retailing for a expensive but pretty respectable $100. If you're lucky used, you can pick one of these up for maybe 50 bucks. If you're lucky at a flea market, something like that, you can maybe get down to around the 30 range. But as far as being a quality tool, these are absolutely fantastic. They're rugged, they'll last you forever. This has been around since, I believe, 2011. I purchased this used for about 50 bucks 3 years ago in 2012. So it's had its use. It's been through a few countries, been on a load of hiking trips, climbing trips, whatever. So to start off is the one thing that I think defines Victorinox over a Leatherman, especially with this tool, is look at this beautiful case. This is made of absolutely fantastic leather. When you first get these, they're a little bit squeaky, but after they soften up, they're just beautiful. And of course you got the, I believe it's a 3-inch belt loop, so if you have any sort of belt, you can slot it through, put it on, have it on your hip, and ready to go. So if this is on your hip, you just slot this up, and then you can pull it out. So that case is absolutely beautiful, with a nice little embossed logo on there. So let's look at the tool itself. So again, these retail for about 100 bucks, and of course it is a folding multi-tool. This one's a little bit dirty, just because it's been in use for a long time, and I don't clean my tools that often. Of course, when I'm doing something really gross or caustic, of course, I'll clean them off. But, you know, this one's done its service. It's been fantastic. It's been absolutely invaluable to me on trips. One thing I would like is if it had spring pliers. It's called a needle nose point on there. And I think with the Gerber suspension, which is the tool I had before this, in 2011, it had a really nice sort of spring action to it. Which just made, like, you know, twisting stuff, prying stuff, just that little bit easier because you don't have to sort of use your leverage to open it back up again. But let's take a look at the tools on the actual thing. So the one thing I use on here mainly, aside from the blade, is these scissors. These scissors are beautiful. I've got something I can cut here. I mean, I can show you with just paper, but it's not all that impressive. These are just nice to use, fun, they glide well, and they're not like other very tight springy scissors. Like I know on the Gerber suspension I had, it was a real chore just, you know, pushing that down. I mean, after all this time they are a little bit sticky, but they still work fantastically. And this does have a locking mechanism on it, so these tabs here, if you want to unlock one of the tools, so say I've got this open, I put one finger on one tab, put a finger on the other tab, you just pull down, and the whole thing will slide and go back into place. So moving on, so also on the side we have a prying tool, which has a small screwdriver on the end. I believe that's a 3mm screwdriver. So for all your fairly fine stuff, so you know, certain watches, just I usually use this bit as a pry tool. Is its main use for me. So I'll just talk about this in regards to what I use it for. Because whilst they can advertise that this has, here they advertise it has 27 functions, maybe I'll just use 15 of them on a daily basis. So moving on, we then have the screwdriver. Phillips head screwdriver, nice and sharp. This is great. It even does really, really small screws on, like I use this for my laptop. So pretty much any size Phillips head screw will fit that, aside from incredibly small ones on, say, something like, you know, electronics, hard drives, inside certain PCs. But it will do most things. That's the same one I just had out. So let's move on to this one. So here we have the can opener. Actually, I could do a video just on how to use one of these, because I was unsure for the longest amount of time. You know, I had all these Swistools, and I was just like, I don't really know how to use this thing properly. But simply, you would hook the lip of your can just into here, and then you force the whole tool down until this cutting blade pushed through the metal, and then you twist it around a bit, and just keep pushing like that until you get all the way around the can, or just enough to pry open the lid. And then again, you have the, I think it's the 5mm flathead screwdriver on there. So I use that a fair bit. I remember one camping trip I used it to open something like 15 cans of tomatoes because we didn't bring anything to actually open any cans with. And then another thing I use a lot, especially for touching up my other knives, tools, whatever, is the file on here. On this side it has a slightly coarse, this is, I don't know if you can see that, but it actually is sort of a diamond checker pattern. There's a little bit of metal build-up in there from something I was using for the other day. And then this side is more of just a straight pattern. So this will do anything from doing your nails to just shaving a little bit of metal off just to loosen up the lock on a knife, which is what I was doing the other day. So yeah, it's just fantastic. Moving on, we have a smaller saw. This will not be useful for you giant logs or anything like that, but as far as smaller tasks go, this is absolutely fantastic. It's deadwood. You can tell by the fact that these are sort of little pyramid-shaped blades. So I'm gonna get it to focus there. Is it gonna do it? Hang on. All right. So anyway, you see how they're more pyramid-shaped? If these are more rounded and sort of uneven and just odd, then that will be a live wood saw. But the fact that these are triangular says it's deadwood. So if you're cutting through logs, branches to make kindling for your fire, this is what you want to use. And if you keep going, here we have another. I'm not sure exactly what this tool is used for, but usually I use it for reaming. As you see, there's a slight sort of bezel on the blade there. So whilst this isn't incredibly sharp, you can still use this to poke holes in whatever. So you're cleaning out. I don't know. So you're whittling a spoon or a fork or something like that. If you want to make a lanyard hole, you could just stab this in and keep twisting, and eventually it would go through. Also, for making belt loops, this is fantastic. I've done that for a few friends now. And if you go on to the next one, the next one is the screwdriver, the large screwdriver. So this is probably, I think, a 6mm bit, and this also has the bottle opener and wire cutting attachment. So if you're cutting wires, you just simply place this against the table or something and just pull, and it will strip the just outer plastic part of the wire off. So I don't use this all that often, simply because I never end up drinking anything with bottle caps. I'm not an alcohol guy, and sodas I usually get in cans, so I don't end up using it. But one tool I do really use is this chisel. So right here you have a small sort of chisel bit, so if you want to cut like small strings, strands, ropes, you can just, slide that over and then just pull, snap it right off. These are very sharp. These haven't been used a lot, so it's pretty much as sharp as they ever got it. And then you have a small chisel bit on the end. So, there's just unbelievable amounts of uses for this. You can use this as a prying tool, although I wouldn't recommend it, simply because you'll eventually snap off this very fine piece of metal at the end that will just end up in an overhang, and then you'll have this sort of blunt chisels tool, which you'll have to do a lot of resharpening work on to get it to function again. And then, lastly, we have the blade. My blade is completely screwed up at the moment. If I bring it nice and close, you should be able to see. You can see in parts of the blade, like here, the metal's folded over. I lent this to a friend about a week ago. Not sure what he used it for, but it's basically completely screwed in the sharpness department. So, even if I take just a piece of paper like this and just try to cut through, it just cuts horribly. You get this weird jagged cut. So this is blunt as anything at the moment. So this needs sharpening up, and of course, because it's a serrated blade, that's pretty hard to do when I only have a flat sharpening stone. I think it's a 1000 grit whetstone, which I usually use and brings blades to almost razor sharp, which is enough for my daily use. But yeah, as far as functionality, this thing's fairly done, unless I really grind it, but I don't have a bench grinder to do that with. So overall, this tool is fantastic. It's had its worth. The only flaw I've had with it has been that that blade folding over and buckling a little bit. But I think that's simply because a friend was abusing it, didn't know what it was doing, didn't understand that these tools are meant to be used for their intended purpose. And if you don't, they will break. I've had a lot of tools snap on me, a lot of tools break. I've broken off the tips of knives. It's very easy to do. So long as you respect these things and use them for what they're intended, they will pretty much last you forever. I mean, I've had this for 4 years, and not a single piece is broken off, not a single thing has really gone wrong with it. So in combination, the tool and the case, $100 brand new. Probably get it for less if you shop around a little bit. But they're completely worth it. You can go on the budget. Gerber suspensions are a popular tool. You can probably pick one of those up for maybe $30 or so. But performance-wise, this will probably be twice as easy. And it has a lot more functionality than a cheaper tool like that. So if you want me to do a comparison between this and something like the suspension, I was thinking of doing that in a video maybe later this month. But aside from that, if you got any comments, leave them. If you want to like, dislike, it really helps just knowing what you guys enjoy and don't. So please give me criticism on that, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.